Hi, my name is Kanaret, and I'm a museum educator at the Art Institute of Chicago. Together, we're going to explore a contemporary artwork, meaning one that was made recently, here in our collection. Let's take a moment to let our eyes move around this artwork. Left to right, top to bottom, from the center out to the edges. What are some of the first things you notice? Were your eyes drawn to the rainbow hues of the children, each looking directly at us? Did you focus on the bright clothing, layers upon layers of designs and patterns? Do you wonder about the gray and white floral background? Perhaps its wavy edges give us a hint about the materials of this piece. Let's look closer and see what we can learn about this artwork. Upon first look, this artwork might seem to be a painting, but it's actually made of fabric. Let's first explore the materials and see how this artwork was made. Looking closely at this child, what do you notice? You can see the contours and shape of his face has been built up with layers of fabric, sewn together with delicate stitches. The artist chose a range of hues to show light and shadows across his features. His curly hair is highlighted with decoratively sewn spirals. Now let's look for clues about the children. Who do you think they might be? Why would they be standing together? It looks as though the second child on the left, a girl standing between two friends, is holding something. It looks like a paper where she's written her name, Ruth, and the date, September 13th. What do you think the paper might be? Could it be a school assignment or an artwork she is bringing home? Let's look at the taller children on the right. The child in the middle also seems to be holding something in her hands, and she is wearing a key around her neck. What do you think the key might unlock? Let's look at the boy in the center. What do you notice is unique about him? That he is peering over sunglasses? That he wears a hat and sash across his body made out of tightly woven cloth? Why do you think his arms might be outstretched? Might he be protecting the children behind him? Learning about the artist will help us dive even deeper into this artwork. This artwork was made by Bisa Butler, and she creates art using textiles or fabric. She learned to sew from her grandmother and mother, and is inspired in part by the long history of African American quilting. Butler's process of art making includes finding historic photographs of African Americans, sometimes her family members, at times famous people, and often images of people that she doesn't know but feel familiar to her. Butler often uses photographs of unnamed African Americans taken by the Works Progress Administration in the 1930s and 40s, and now housed at the National Archive. Butler has said that there are countless photographs of Black people where their names are not recorded because those photos were taken as documentary, just as data, and that she feels an incredible sense of responsibility through her art to help viewers think about them as actual people. Once she has chosen her source image, Butler uses different shades of vibrant colors to create the three-dimensional appearance of her figures. Butler defined her color palette while she was an art major at Howard University and draws from the bright colors found in African art and fabrics. Butler keeps the style of clothing true to the original photograph, in this case school clothing from the 1950s, but she adds meaningful decoration through the textiles that she uses. The children are dressed in a mix of tightly woven kente cloth and larger patterned batik fabrics. The kente cloth can be seen here on the boy's hat and sash. Butler was inspired to use kente cloth, which comes from the Asante culture in Ghana, West Africa, because her father was Ghanaian. Each kente weaving pattern and color has symbolic meaning, and Butler carefully chooses the prints based on how she wants to convey the identity of the people in her works. Kente is traditionally only worn to special events or by royalty. The batik fabrics are very popular in West Africa today, but originally they came from Asia. The technique of using wax to create patterns while dyeing clothing originated in China and India in the 8th century, and was adopted by Indonesia in the 13th century, where it was named batik, meaning to dot. The Dutch learned about this dyeing technique when they colonized Indonesia in the 16th century, and by the 1880s, they exported the technique of creating boldly patterned textiles to other areas they had colonized, including West Africa. Just as the kente fabrics hold symbolic meaning, each of the batik patterns tell a story, while also reflecting the impact of colonialism on the region. Knowing a bit more now about the textiles, why do you think Butler might have chosen to clothe these children in such luxurious fabrics? We haven't yet talked about the name of this artwork. Bisa Butler titled this piece, "The Safety Patrol." Do you have any thoughts about what that might mean? Looking back at the figures, we can see that the outfit of the boy at the center sets him apart. In fact, it's his belt and sash that identify him as part of the School Safety Patrol, a group of children that protect fellow students and serve as leaders. Looking again at the details of his clothing, the eye on his shirt pocket is a symbol of protection. The word "okay" is repeated across his shirt to assure those around him that everything will be all right. He also reminds us as viewers that children, Black children especially, need to be seen, valued, and protected. Bisa Butler has experience as a painter and collagist, and she chooses to create her portraits of African American figures as quilts. How does her choice of materials and subjects make her artwork impactful? As an artist, Butler has said she has a responsibility to educate and show her people, members of the African American community, in a positive light. How do you see this artwork achieving that? In the Safety Patrol, we see children serving as protectors and in need of protection. Based on your experience, what are the challenges that students face today? Where have you seen students step up to voice children's concerns? How have you seen them take action, perhaps through social media, participating in protests, or grassroots organizing? And what has their impact been? Butler creates artworks that draw from her individual identity and her experience as part of a larger community. Where in your own life do you share aspects of your culture with others? I want to thank you so much for joining me in exploring the Safety Patrol. You can see it and many other artworks the next time you visit the Art Institute of Chicago. You may want to explore pieces in our collection that Bisa Butler has said inspire her work. These include the quilts made in Gee's Bend and the narrative quilts of Faith Ringgold, Gordon Parks' photographs of African American life, Romare Bearden's paper collages, and prints made by Barbara Jones-Hogu, a member of Afro Cobra. You may also want to listen to Bisa Butler's playlist, found on our website, where she and her husband have paired her artworks with songs by musical artists, including Chance the Rapper, Beyoncé, Aretha Franklin, and Muddy Waters. We look forward to seeing you at the museum.